Welcome to Lesson 113, Order of Operations. The objective for today's lesson is to be able to use the order of operations to simplify expressions. If you take a look at this problem, you'll notice that there are two different operations in it, and I want you to take a minute and I want you to see if you can come up with different answers to this problem. So go ahead and pause, take about 2 minutes, and then come back and we'll go over this. Okay, so you'll notice some of us might have found that we could find two different answers. First, if you do 2 plus 3 first, that gives you 5, and then if you take the 5 and multiply it by 4, you get 20. Others could have done 3 times 4 first and gotten 12, and then done 2 plus 12 and gotten 14. You'll notice that these two answers are completely different, so which one of them is correct? The answer to this comes in the form of the order of operations. Okay? When we talk about the order of operations tells us the specific order in which you use all the different operations to correctly solve an expression. As an example, we're just going to use PEMDAS. Don't worry about what PEMDAS stands for right now, which is why I've colored all this in. I just want you to write down the acronym PEMDAS. An expression is a mathematical phrase that contains numbers and operation symbols. So 15 times 3 plus 12 would be an example of an expression. Now remember, expressions also don't have equal signs. This is a good thing to start remembering, as it will come up later on in a different chapter. PEMDAS. Some of us have heard this referred to as PEMDAS. Others have more commonly heard the sentence, "Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally." It is a silly sentence, but it helps us remember the letters that we need to remember to help us remember the order of operations. So please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, and you'll notice I gave you space up here to write this down. Please make sure that you're writing it down, and leave space below because there's more stuff to write down as well. What these letters stand for, besides the silly sentence: parentheses for the P, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. These are the different operations that we use in math, and this is the order that we need to solve them in when we have multiple operations in one expression. Now, one common misconception when people use the order of operations is that you have to do multiplication, then division. You have to remember that multiplication and division are one step, and addition and subtraction are one step. So if you're thinking about this as a set of stairs, you only have 4 stairs. You have parentheses, exponents, multiplication and division, addition, and subtraction. And we'll go over this a little bit more in later examples. You'll notice in your notes I gave you this quick reference of how to do the order of operations. You will not have this though when you're taking quizzes and tests. This is a good tool and resource to use when you're studying and when you are doing your practice work. However, you really want to work and practice with the PEMDAS, because that is something that's easy to remember and quick for you to write down on the top of a test. I've had a lot of students that have memorized that, and then as soon as I pass out the test, write down PEMDAS. And that is absolutely okay as long as you are the person that's remembering that. I have no problem with that. Alright, so we have this problem, and you actually have this problem in your notes as well right here. You do not need to write down all the words that I have down here, but I do want you to write down the problem and how I'm showing you to show the work for the problem. It's very important that we stay organized, especially when we're doing problems like this, because it's very easy to lose track of where we are and to end up with the incorrect answer. Right, so as we're doing this, I am going to ask what we do first, next, and the next step, and so on. And I want you to answer. Hey, you don't have to post this or anything, but I want you to think of the answer. before I give it to you. So for the first part, what do we do first in this problem? Okay, because the P stands for parentheses, we look for any parentheses. We do have parentheses, so we have to do whatever inside of those parentheses first. Whenever you see parentheses, okay, you have to use the order of operations again. So if there was more than one operation in here, you would use the order of operations to decide what to do first. In this case, we only have addition, so all we have to do first is 7 plus 3, and 7 plus 3 gives us 10. So we bring down the 10, and whatever else we didn't use. So since we didn't use the 60, the division symbol, the addition symbol, and the 3, okay, we bring all of that down, and we combine the 7 plus 3 to make 10. Okay, so now we take a look here. Using PEMDAS, what do you think we would do next? Division would be the correct answer here because multiplication and division comes before addition and subtraction. So in this case, we would do 60 divided by 10 first, which gives us 6. So we bring down the 6 that the 60, division, and 10 give us, and then we bring down the plus 3 that we haven't used yet. Now we have a one-step problem that becomes 6 plus 3, and we know that that will give us 9. Now notice all these little red lines in here. You do not have to put those in. However, you do need to show the work in this upside-down triangle form. Okay? Do one piece of this at a time, because if you try to do too much at once, you are going to end up with an incorrect answer. Alright, so what we're going to do here, I will go over problem number 1 with you. And then what I want you to do is try the other ones one by one. And when you come back, when you finish one, come back, check your answer, move on to the next. Alright, so for number 1, we're going to go through and see what we would do first. Since I do have parentheses, I have to do the parentheses first. And the parentheses is 10 minus 4, which gives me 6. I haven't used the addition symbol yet, and I haven't used the 2 yet. Okay, so now this problem just turned into 2 plus 6. I can do 2 plus 6 easily, and that gives me 8. So what I want you to do now, I want you to pause and try number 2, and when you come back, I will show you the work and the correct answer. Make sure you try this though, so that way you're getting the practice in that you need to be successful with this. Alright, for number 2, again, we do the parentheses first. So 8 plus 4 gives us 12, and we bring that down. We bring down everything we haven't used. Okay, so the 7, the addition symbol, the 3, and the multiplication symbol. We look at our order of operations. We have no more parentheses. We don't have any exponents. Do we have any multiplication or division? We do have multiplication. Okay, so we're going to do the multiplication first, which is 3 times 12, and that gives us 36. Notice if I would have done 7 plus 3 first, that would have given me a completely different answer. But the order of operations told me to do multiplication first, so I end up with 7 plus 36, and when I complete that, I get 43. Now, if you did this incorrectly, please feel free to go back, erase, and fix it, but make sure to try and find where you made your mistake. Go ahead and pause and try number 3, and then when you come back, we can go over that answer. Alright, number 3, it has division and multiplication, and that's it. So this is really where that multiplication division one-step rule comes into play. A lot of students like to do multiplication first because in the acronym PEMDAS, M comes before D. However, the rule tells us that we have to do multiplication and division in order from left to right. So I have division and I have multiplication. But because division comes first from left to right, I have to do that first. 36 divided by 4 gives me 9. I bring down the times 2. 9 times 2 gives me 18. if you would have done multiplication first, you would have ended up with an answer around 4 6/10, which would have been incorrect. Okay, so what I want you to do is you are going to post your answers to number 4 and 5 on Edmodo. However, I want you to also post what you would do in what order in words. So I'm going to do number 6 as an example for you and show you what I'm looking for here. So for number 6, I would first have to do what's inside the parentheses. Okay, and then inside those parentheses, I would first have to do subtraction, then addition. The next thing I would need to do is multiplication, because that comes first, and then division. Okay, so this is all I'm looking for here, and then at the bottom I would be looking for an answer. So in this case, I would have to do 20 minus 14, which is 6, plus 3 is 9. 9 times 10 is 90, divided by 9 is 10, so my answer is 10. This is all I'm looking for here. Explanation of what to do, very vague, very short and sweet in words, and then your answer. And I'm looking for that for number 4 and number 5. Also, if you have any questions, make sure to post them to Edmodo and I can try to go over them right away in class with you tomorrow.